Hi and welcome back to the FreeFormKnits YouTube channel. I'm Haxann Evers, a knit and crochet who's FreeForm crafting flips the world of design. All the placing of them are listed right down below this video. This is my channel where I talk about knitting, crochet, all that fun crafty stuff, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. This is podcast episode 71, I think. I never know. We know this. It has been a little bit since I've podcasted. I have so much knitting and crochet to talk with you about. Just a lot of life stuff happening, but I'm putting this in where I can before life kind of picks up and gets very busy again. If you've been following a while, you might know last year I started my first full semester of college, and this spring semester starts actually tomorrow, and I'm going to be busy with 5 classes, so it's quite a bit, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. And this is really my last day to, I guess, just kind of do all things crafty, I guess. So I'm just enjoying it and bringing you some new finished objects, works in progress, and we're just going to talk all things yarn for a while. Looking at all my finished objects, I finished quite a bit. I'm quite proud of the progress I've made. Actually, before we start into finished objects, I did want to touch on the last video I published before this was me making my making journal, and I kind of talked about this in my previous podcast episode, how I think I did at least. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. Things never make sense. Okay. So I've been wanting to find a way to log my progress, and I made a whole video about that, so you can see that if you're interested. I really just wanted to kind of give, not really so much, I don't even know how to put it. I really just wanted a way to kind of see at the end of the year how much I've done, because I know for me, my crafting kind of comes in waves. Sometimes I'm really motivated to do all the things, and other times I barely knit a stitch, and that's kind of new for me. I learned to knit when I was 9 years old, and I learned to crochet soon after that, and really it's always been a consistent thing for me. Just, you know, as long as I was stitching, that was good. But in this new season of life, I found myself sometimes I'm more motivated, sometimes not so motivated, and that's okay. And I'm just trying to kind of, I want to keep track of my projects just so that I, even in those moments where I don't feel motivated, I know that I have been making, because making makes me very happy, and as I assume it does to you too, and that's why you are here watching me talk about all my projects. This is my making journal this year. This cover is I got for I think Christmas last year, and it's just a super pretty cover. I really love it, and I just put a simple notebook in here. It's my cover page. I love watching like bullet journaling, these beautiful spreads people make. I'm not that person. I'm not that good at drawing, and like especially with the even space lines. I actually have a separate like bullet journal thing that I use for like daily to-do lists and things I want to do that month. But it's far from perfect because I'm not perfect. It's better to do something messily than wait for that level of perfection that you just might not achieve. So, but practice makes perfect, and maybe one day I will make even lines like all those beautiful bullet journalers. But anyway, I wanted to share that because I'm keeping it very simple. I just did, like, I put some goals for myself. I put like a list of my stash, and I just kept it very simple. I actually have to fill it out. I'll probably do that after I finish filming this. What I've been doing lately, just new cast-ons, what I want to cast on, and what I have finished. And then a little thing here for, like, I called it a shopping list, but it really can just be notes, anything like that. So that's just what I've decided to do this year. I wanted to share that in case anyone was interested. So you can check out that video if you are interested, and I would love it if you could leave down below, like, are you doing anything to log your projects? Do you feel that urge, or do you just really, keep track of what you keep track, which I get, because that was me for a very, very long time. Still is to an extent, which is why I want to make a point after this to fill it out correctly. So I guess now we'll move on to finished objects. Actually, first, what I am wearing. I finished this a long time ago. It's finally like consistently cold enough to actually pull it out. The thing is that I've been having trouble with my knitwear, my crochet wear, is it might be cold enough to wear it, but it's hard to, like, I guess, what outfit to put it in, I guess. Like, I'm just wearing a tank top under this, and that's really good. It's cold enough to wear this sweater, but it's warm enough that I can wear a tank top underneath. That's the thing. It's the layering piece that I'm just not good at. I usually end up layering a lot of my clothes, and with a worsted weight sweater that doesn't get too comfortable, because I'm not comfortable if I have like a bunch of pieces on. But what I'm wearing is this crochet corner to corner cardigan. I made this I think back in the summer, and I I still do want to like write up the pattern, make a whole tutorial out of it. There are so many things I want to do in regards to my patterns. I guess in that kind of idea of perfection that one day you're going to meet, like I was just talking about with my bullet journaling. I feel like I want to wait for like the right time to really devote time to it, but honestly, there might not be a perfect time for anything. You should just do what makes you happy, and it would make me very happy to get this pattern out and share it with you. So that's something I definitely want to do, but it's not out yet. I really love it. Every time I forget when I make something and then don't see it for a while and pull it out how much I loved it to begin with. So I'm really loving this. It is made out of I Love This yarn in the, I think the lilac colorway, and it's just all corner to corner. It's done in pieces, the back, the two fronts, the sleeves, and some ribbing for the cuffs. Like my sleeves are the perfect length. I'm so happy about that. And then I just did like single crochet for the edge. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me correctly, that I want to say I must have used 4 skeins of I Love This yarn, which come in 200-gram skeins or 199-gram skeins, and I think I had just a little bit left. So I guess this sweater took a little bit less than 800 grams, which for corner to corner crochet worsted weight is pretty good. Like I was pretty happy with that amount. I think I definitely want to get more yarn to make another one. There are just a few things, like this fits me really good, but if you know corner to corner crochet, then you know like how this, you have an idea of how this would be constructed. So I think my seam here, like it's a drop shoulder, like the seam, the sleeve meets the sweater here. It's not tight, but the seam itself is kind of bulky, so I think I should account for that and just make a little bit more room here, like in regards to seaming. I think that would be a good idea. I have very stick straight arms. We've talked about this. My arms are like Lego arms that just kind of slopped onto my body. And I think for me it would be more comfortable. I don't like anything bulky, anything uncomfortable. Nobody does, do they? Anything uncomfortable. I just think that would be a good idea. So anyway, total tangent. But that is what I am wearing, and I'm really loving it. So yes, now we can go into finished objects. I keep saying we're going to finished objects. Now we're going on to finished objects. And speaking of sweaters, I actually have a finished object that is a sweater. I'm so happy about this. So I think I talked about last time how I had to force myself to pick up the sleeve and then it just flew. It is my circular yoke pullover. And there was a stitch marker where I talked about how I had to put the body on hold because I knew I had to go back and knit longer. I did that, and the stitch marker is where it was. I think it was where it was originally. No, after the ribbing. It was like here originally. I had it basically like an inch or two, but it made all the difference. And it is done. I love it so much. So my nose is so itchy. I'm so sorry. I'm like flicking fluff out of my nose. I'm just so itchy. Okay. I have talked about how I wanted to master circular yoke construction, sweater construction, and the way to come up with the numbers for yourself, and I have done it. This is my perfect fit. It fits me perfectly, so perfectly. The only thing I would change making the same sweater is I second guessed myself at the underarm to cast on extra stitches or not, because with the circular yoke, the whole point of it is it kind of just drapes very naturally on your shoulder. There's really no complicated shaping. It just drapes there. So then when you cast on stitches for the underarm, like when you separate the sleeves, it can, my fear is I always exaggerate it in my head that it will make sort of like a bell shape, and if you don't cast on like enough or too few stitches, like the bell shape might not come across right. Like I like a bell shape in my head. I really do actually want to make like a sweater that has, maybe bell shape isn't the right word, but I might be using the right word, but like this like flow, because it'll be looser in the body. And I over exaggerate in my head. Like I second guess myself all the time how many stitches cast on. So I probably should have casted on more. I think I casted on maybe only 2, because I know I picked up 4 stitches for the underarm when I did the sleeve. So that's the only thing I would change. It fits really nicely. I put it on, but I'm really comfortable right now. I'm really comfortable in this sweater right here. It's like the perfect temperature, just very comfortable, so I don't want to ruin that. But it fits me so nicely. I actually shared a reel over on Instagram putting it on, so if you want to check out how it fits over there, I am the Freeform Knitter on Instagram. You can follow me over there. I share fun reels and all sorts of fun stuff over there. So I'm just so happy with it. I'm so happy that I got the numbers. I did it. And not only that, I was helping my sister. My sister also knits. She was making a circular yoke sweater. She was going to follow a pattern, but her gauge was so different and it wasn't going to work with the yarn she wanted, so we plotted out the numbers for her and it worked out perfectly. So I feel very accomplished, like I did it. I know how to do this now, and it's such a freeing feeling in your crafting. Like the whole point of crafting is to be free. I'm the freeform knitter. I love figuring it out and making it so it's just right for me. So yeah, I'm so happy about this. The yarn is Must Be Merino Aran. I believe maybe it's teal. I don't think it's teal because I have a teal. But it's just this, Suran blue? I don't know. I never know. But it's super pretty. I knit it on a 9, and yeah. The neckline is also perfect. I'm so happy. I'm just so happy. For the neckline, I just did just a few rows of knitting before this purl ridge, so it lays flat. And I don't know. I'm just so happy about it. I did go down a needle size, 2 needle sizes actually, for my ribbing, just 1 by 1 rib. Everything fits perfectly. The sleeves, the decreases, everything is just perfect. So now that I've shown it, I can wear it. I didn't want to mess it up, snag it, because that is one thing I found, that the Must Be Merino is a blend of 50% merino wool, 25% acrylic, and 25% nylon. And when you're knitting with it, it does feel a bit splitty, and it does snag very easily. Like, and this 100% acrylic, it'll snag, but not so much. And like, this is shinier. If that makes sense, that like this is shinier, it snags easily. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm getting at? Or do I sound crazy? Anyway, this is complete. I'm so happy about it. It's my first finished garment of 2023, and it's only January, which is awesome. So I did start it in December, but you know what? Whatever. Okay, my next finished object, I talked about wanting to cast on last time, and it flew off the needles. This is my Stormtrooper hat. So for Christmas, I got the official Star Wars knitting book by Tannis Gray, and this was one of the patterns in that book. I talked about wanting to do a blue and cream, but the blues I had, I think I have them set aside for another project, so I didn't want to dip into them and possibly like mess up the plans for that project. This is always a problem I run into with my stash. I'm always like, but I might want to use that for something else, and then I won't have enough, which is ridiculous. So I just ended up with this pink. I really like it. I knitted on a 9. I probably should have done a 10 because my tension for the color work is really good. Also, I did hack this pattern. The pattern is written for fingering. I used worsted, but it was very easy. I just like looked at the chart and cast on the multiple of stitches I would need, just less for the worsted, you know, because my gauge is bigger. There's 4 repeats total on this, and I did eliminate. You're supposed to do this twice up here, but I eliminated that. And the hat fits, but maybe it's not so bad. I expected it to pull because it is a snug fit just with the floats. I probably should have used a 10 instead of a 9. I typically use a 9 with worsted, but a 10 would have given me a little bit more give. It's really not bad. Like once I pull it over my head, like when I put it on, I can feel the floats tightening. But it doesn't look like it's pulling badly. Like I could get away with wearing this. I don't know. I don't know if we'll keep it. I might give it away, but it was just a really fun knit, very satisfying to knit that color work. And I do want to show my floats because I always am paranoid when I'm knitting color work that I'm going to mess up my floats and that they're going to be too tight or too loose. For this hat, I did not carry my floats any amount of stitches. It's not like a sleeve, so it's not like my fingers are going to get caught in the color work. I think your floats, just if you don't carry them, if you just like, well, obviously you carry your floats, if you don't like lock them down, if you know what I mean, if you knit color work, lock them down with a few stitches to get them closer to where they need to actually be used to knit. If you just carry them from this part to the next part, even if you end up with long floats, I think it just looks better on the inside and helps your tension because your stitches can kind of even out. So my floats look pretty darn good. I honestly am so surprised that they look this good. Like, you can see the patterning, it's so satisfying. I was surprised that they looked this good because while I was knitting it, knitting color work on 16-inch circular needles. Like, I love knitting 16-inch circular needles for hats, but knitting color work on them is very hard because it's like, it's not spread out, you get paranoid about your tension. But like this, and especially toward the really long parts, I kept switching back and forth between the 16-inch circular needles to my bigger needles for the crown decreases, which had its own problems, but at least I could be sure that the floats wouldn't get tight. It was a whole thing, but I'm so happy with how it turned out. I wove in all my ends. This end isn't cut, but I wove it in. I wove in all the ends. I was good. So yeah. I also didn't do, I did this rolled hem, but I didn't mean to. I just wanted to knit a round, but then I realized I had to knit another round to add the white for this like corrugated ribbing, I think it's called. I wish I kind of hadn't done that. It doesn't look too bad. I've never done like the corrugated ribbing where you knit one, you purl one in the other color. It's very pretty. I love it. It has that little bit of texture to this hat. And then I think I did my own decreases. I think I was too lazy to go look at my book for the decreases and just did them according to what I had. So very happy with this. I really like it. It's very nice, very satisfying to knit. So it feels very accomplishing to knit a piece of color work like this. So yeah, I'm really happy that I wanted to make it and I did, and it's just a nice finished object. So I have one more finished object, which is a pair of socks, and I was too lazy to grab my sock blockers, so they're kind of a mess. I did not weave in my ends. Which I've been waiting to weave in my ends for socks till I finished the pair, but for some reason this pair has not gotten finished. I have not woven in the ends. So this is a pair of Felici socks in the olive juice colorway. That was the colorway for this pair. I added a yarn bee mini, and I knit these using my toe-up sock recipe, my toe-up shortcut heel sock recipe. I use my very simple, the laziest toe-up cast on, where I just need to whip stitch this closed and call it a day, because I fiddle with toe-up cast-ons all the time, and just, sometimes it's easier to do things the lazy way. I've really been loving my toe-up socks lately. I don't know what it is. I love that I can do it both ways, but I always kind of assumed I was more of a cuff down person, but there's something very satisfying about doing a toe up. I really love when I'm knitting it. When I've cast on, I've done the toe and just knitting the foot. I just love how that feels. I don't know. It's very satisfying. It's kind of also easier with, I only have one skein of each of these Felicis, and they come in 50 grams, so it's kind of easier to see where you are and how much you have left to work with. But they match perfectly. And actually these, I think, were these the ones that they match perfectly? One of them might be one row shorter because the skein started with half a stripe on one of them, so I finished with half a stripe, but I was one row short, I think. I think this was the pair that was the case. But it doesn't matter, nobody's going to know. They're going to be a gift for later in the year. I think they're going to be for my sister's birthday. And I'll just weave in the ends then, and then ask myself why I waited so long to weave in the ends. If I had done them before, I wouldn't have had to weave them in now. That's probably what's going to happen. I also used my sewn bind off for the cuffs. I love doing that for toe-up socks. I think this one bind off, it's not the neatest looking, if you can see. It's not very neat, but it's very quick to do, and it is definitely stretchy. So it's very reliable, and I find that it doesn't like flare really. The ribbing, would you call that a flare? I feel like with the this Jenny Super Stretchy Bind Off flares very noticeably, where this feels kind of just, I don't know, maybe it could be considered a flare. I don't know, I like it. It works for me. I have a tutorial both on how to do my lazy toe cast on and my sewn bind off here on YouTube. And you can actually see this pattern, the toe-up shortcut heel socks, in my Ravelry shop. It has my shortcut heel, done toe-up. You can do it in stockinette or garter. I love that I can do exactly the same sock, either cuff down or toe up. It's awesome. I love that, just being able to have all the options open to me and pick what I want. So that is this pair of socks, and I think that's all my finished objects. So now we will move on into whips, and honestly I have quite a lot of them in this basket here. So, well, this whip is going to be another sock. It's just another skein of fleece sitting in here, but I have not cast it on yet. It's the Poseidon colorway, and this is going to be socks for me. I love these blues. They're so pretty, and I'm just going to use a plain gray mini. So these are going to be my socks, most definitely. And I haven't cast them on yet, though I really want to, honestly. So, but the other sock I'm working on is actually a half-finished object. It is this sock. This is probably also going to be me. It's very me, these colors, I feel like. Not very, well, actually no, they're very me. So here's the sock. It's again toe-up sock, but I did a rolled bind-off for this sock in a Yarn Bee Mini. Both of these are Yarn Bee Minis, but I don't think I have enough of this pink to do the cuff. So that's why I got this extra mini, which I didn't have enough of to do either heels, toes, I didn't have enough of it either. There was very little of it. I think it's like an 8-gram mini I have lying around. So I just did this rolled hem. And this is what I have for the heel. I probably had enough to do this rolled hem in the pink, which I would have preferred, but I didn't want to risk it. So here is the second sock. That's what I mean. How satisfying does this look? This sock on as a work in progress. I mean, cuff down socks are also very satisfying. I love it when I get a cuff down sock past the heel, and it's just like the cuff, the leg, the heel, and then it's ready to do the foot. But I love also how the toe up sock looks. I don't know. It's very nice. So this is another fleechy colorway, the Night Market colorway, and I have this much left. I've been getting quite a bit left. So I've talked about this before. I have a very big foot, and I'm getting full pairs, well, like a good, I'd say 4-inch leg of a big pair of socks with contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs out of a 50-gram fleechy mini. So these it's not a mini, 50-gram fleechy ball of yarn. So I'm really happy with like how I've kind of nailed it down, how much I need to get a pair of socks out of 50 grams. It just makes it more cost effective when you're buying fleechy to not have 2 balls. And I have leftovers. Like I could make probably a full leg with the contrasting heel, toes, and cuffs with the fleechy if I didn't want the stripes to match. I could put like at least 3 more stripes on each sock, and with my leftovers. Because fleechy is typically 6 colorways, 6 stripes in a pair. You know, it varies. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. And I'm almost done with this pair, and then I'll probably weave in my ends. I'm not opposed to weaving my ends. It's just like the extra step of taking out the yarn needle, and I don't know what it is. I'm lazy, I think. But sock work in progress. Then we'll just stick on the sock train. I have my the first sock in my lace stitch sock collection. I finished the first sock, so here is. Just look at this lace. I love this so much. I have memorized the lace repeat. It's so much fun. This sock I actually made a little bit shorter. This will probably also go to my sister eventually when I'm done with the collection. So I made it a little bit shorter for her foot. So my sock collections that I'm doing, I've done the garter stitch sock collection, the cable stitch sock collection. This is the lace stitch sock collection. The premise of these sock collections are to feature very kind of new but basic stitch patterns that you can learn quickly, expand your knitting skills. The back of the sock is always vanilla, and then the front has the stitch pattern that you can just focus on learning. And this one is so simple but so pretty. I love it. I memorized it, I think. I had put it down for a little bit, but like picking it up again, it was just, there's only like 4 pattern rows, and it's just very simple once you get it going. I love it so much. So this is actually done cuff down, the 1x1 rib, shortcut heel again in stockinette, and my hat trick toe. I went with my hat trick toe for this collection. I love it so much. This stitch pattern is just so pretty. I love it. So I did start the second sock. I think I did one repeat. And it's just waiting for me to pick it up again. But I've been working on the vanilla socks and just getting ready with school and everything. My hair is poking my ear. It's so itchy. My hair is at the length where it just gets in my face and just sticks me right to the right spot to make me itchy. It's very annoying. I'm sorry, I keep picking at my face. But I am using Knit Stroll for this collection. This is the Paisley Heather colorway. I bought 2 skeins for this collection because I wanted just them to be solid sock colors. But for some reason, when I cast on the second sock, I just kept going with my first skein. So I think I had, I'd say about a little bit more than 20 grams. So I'll probably get like halfway through this before breaking into the second skein. So it just makes it easier to manage the scraps, honestly. But it is an extra pin to weave in. So I don't know, it doesn't matter. I knit all my socks on Chagu Red Lace 2.75 millimeter needles, which is a US 2.5, I think. Okay, and just putting this back in. I knit them with 40-inch Chagu cords because I just like the amount of slack that gives me. Sometimes I think it's too long, but I'm afraid a 32-inch cord would be just a little bit too short. I don't know, I just like the extra slack, for socks at least. So, but the only thing is that they kind of stick out always in my bag, and I'm always afraid they're gonna like pull the needle out or something, but I don't know. Okay, moving on, we have, let's see, 3 more projects to talk about. And I really like all of them. We'll start with the one I'm most concerned about. So this project is a crochet project. It's the Aria cardigan, I want to say by Grace for the Frills. I think that's right. And I love the look of this cardigan. I love the cut. I've been looking for a cardigan like this for so long because it would just be perfect. It would be perfect to go over a tank top like this. Just very simple, very light, I think it would look good on me. I'm looking for clothes that look good on me because I don't feel like any of my clothes look good right now. I'm very much been in very much just like jeans and t-shirts, but I'd like to look a little bit nicer every now and again. So I love the look of this cardigan. One of my goals for this year, not a goal, but an aspiration with my crafting, is I do want to work with more natural fibers. I want to work with more wool-based fibers. My sweaters, such as this, like I have other sweaters knit out of the same base of yarn, they're really warm, and I found myself gravitating towards those solely this year rather than my acrylic-based sweaters. So I would love to make more sweaters like that and have sweaters that I will wear and be warm in. So that is, I wanted to make this cardigan out of that same base. The only one I had in my stash was the Must Be Merino in this teal. And it is DK instead of worsted. The only thing is that this is very splitty. Like I said, it's not very splitty, it's just very soft, and it can split easily. I wouldn't say that it's going to split on you, but you could split it very easily, if you get what I mean. Maybe you don't. I don't know if I'm making any sense. So I've started the ribbing. It's done with there's a free pattern on her blog. I've done the band. I'm almost done with it, I think. I have to check. I was surprised I didn't go down a needle size for the band. I could have easily substituted that, but I have some concerns with the pattern is done in the linen stitch and crochet, and with this yarn I am concerned whether or not it's going to help with my fear of splitting the yarn or if it's going to make it worse. So I haven't been pushing forward very much with this project because I have so many questions about it, whether or not it's going to work with this yarn and this pattern. Otherwise I'll have to find a different yarn to make this cardigan because it's so pretty. I definitely want to make it, but I only have this to show for it so far. I'm using a 5mm hook. I got gauge. At least the thing about the linen stitch, and honestly, even with my ribbing here, you can see I get tighter as I go. Like once it's established, I got tighter, and that's a problem with the linen stitch too. But because this is a wool-based yarn, I think it'll be very forgiving and blocking. So if my tension changes throughout, it'll probably even out. Hopefully, these are all the questions that are I find myself hesitant to pick this up, but I think once I get going, it'll it'll be okay. I'll at least know whether or not it's going to be a success or a fail. Who knows? But I'm very excited about that pattern. It's such a pretty cardigan. It's exactly what I've been looking for. I just need to see if this yarn will be up to the challenge. The next project I have is also a sweater. So I don't have my book by me, but I bought last year the Knit Picks Brioche book, and one of these sweaters in there is a big brioche shrug. I love how it looks so much. I've changed the gauge a little bit. I think I'm getting a looser gauge. Am I getting a looser gauge? Yeah, I think I wanted a looser gauge. Honestly, looking at the pattern, I'm probably reading it wrong. I never dismiss that I'm the problem reading it wrong. The numbers aren't making sense to me. They're measurements. It looks like it's knit from the bottom up and then it's folded over. That's what I get from the directions, how it's laid, how it's folded in the instructions in the book. But the measurements in the schematic, I don't think they're adding up. They might have labeled it wrong. Again, maybe it's me. I was doing the math because I'm trying to figure out how to hack it for my gauge, but the math, the schematic is wrong. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's me because I'm busy hacking it that I'm not paying attention correctly. But that's something I noticed which is very confusing to me. So now I have questions about whether or not I'm making sure the stitches lay the way I want them to lay. So I don't know. Another aspiration I have this year is to knit more brioche. So I thought this would be a good project to start with. But of course I'm hacking it because why would I follow the pattern exactly? And it's just this big sea of brioche in this bright pink color. It's actually the same yarn as this here. I'm using 10 needles, and I haven't picked it up in a few days, but I definitely want to. It's just a sea of brioche, just to kind of get me back into the rhythm of brioche. This will be such a great piece to just like getting up in the morning and throwing on something warm like this. It would just be so comfy. In the worst case scenario, if it turns out that I am doing it wrong, if the brioche stitches aren't going to lay the way I want them to, then I have, I think, 3 skeins of this yarn, and I'll just turn into a big brioche blanket. Either way, it'll be nice and squishy. So that is this, and I really love the rhythm of brioche. It's really very nice. I have plans this year to really dive more into brioche because it's just so cool. You can do so many cool things with it. The last work in progress I have is a shawl. So that's another aspiration for myself this year. I want to knit more shawls. I was knitting and crocheting shawls. I crocheted so many over the years, knit so many, but I've really stopped for a while. And I think it's just because I wasn't really wearing them as much as I was enjoying making them. But I'm getting back into it because if it's fun to make, I will find somebody to give it to if I don't end up wearing it, but I probably will end up wearing this one because I am doing it out of fingering weight yarn. So I actually went through all my fingering weight scraps. I've talked a bit about my situation with fingering weight yarn in the past. It's a bit harder for me personally to get a hold of fingering weight yarn, especially like sock yarn. So when I do get a hold of it, I immediately knit socks with it. And then I hoard the scraps because like, oh, I could use this for contrasting heel sews and cuffs when I get another color, all this sort of thing. But I, over the years, have built up a bit of a stash of fingering weight yarn, very mild, I think, compared to others, very moderate. And I organize them. I organize them to 5 gram minis, 5 and less, 10 and less, actually no, not 10 and less, 10 to, okay, well, the easiest category is 5, 10, 15, 25 minis. 20 and 25 gram minis. And I kind of played with like if I had a certain number, I felt safe putting it in the 10. If I had less than like 8 grams, if I had 8 grams, I felt safe putting it in the 10 gram pile. If I had less than 8 grams, then it immediately went to the 5 gram pile, like that, to make sure that it was all even. I'm blabbering, doesn't matter. Anyway, I did that, and then I took all my 10 gram minis and paired them with this Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK that is actually a fingering weight from Hobby Lobby. I paired it with this and I'm making a shawl. So I was originally going to do a patterning, but I'm very much just with getting school ready, getting hold of my books and my classes all sorted. I've been very much just enjoying mindless knits, so I'm just doing a simple garter stitch. And it is so awesome. So I'm using a size 8 needle. The gauge is amazing. It has so much drape, it's like nothing in my fingers. I'm doing an I-cord edging. In my Ravelry shop, I have a little pattern booklet called 4 Crochet Shawl Constructions, and it's very simple instructions linked with video tutorials and everything. I actually have the video tutorials here on YouTube walking you through 4 basic crochet shawl shapes. I would love to do a knitted version of that. So this is the asymmetrical shawl shape, and just every now and then I'm throwing in a mini. Well, not every now and then. I started with so it's every time with this gray stripe, it's 10 garter ridges, so 20 rows. And then this first mini, I got 20 rows at 20 ridges, which is 40 rows. Then I got 15, 10, 10. I don't know how much I'm going to get out of this one. I'm hoping for 9, and I can kind of count down. I kind of get a little bit when I don't consider myself someone who gets like hung up on like, oh, it has to be like this number of rows and things. But when I draw my attention to it, I'm like, I'd really like it if it was this number of rows. So I'm trying not to be like it has to be 9 or 5, you know, whichever one, because I want to use up the minis. That's the whole point of this project. But I don't know, we'll see. I think I'm at 5, 2, 4. Yeah, no, 6. I'm at 6 ridges. I think I'll make it to 9. Do you think I'll make it to 9? I have this much. Comment down below if you think I'll make it to 9 ridges, which is 18 rows. I think I should. I think so. I don't know. I'll look like a fool next time. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's super pretty. Having this, I had quite a bit of this in my stash. Having this just to add some more length to it, kind of keep it more cohesive, has been really nice. I kind of organized them in, I think maybe not so much a rainbow. I don't know. Just kind of going from the reds, well, not really red, but orange, yellow, green, blue. I'm going to end with purple, I think. I have some purples in here. I have this. This is a taffeta hand painted, which actually was the yarn I used to knit up my toe-up shrunk and heel socks. So yeah, it's been really fun. I have some more minis in here. I think I ended up with 10 total. I took some out just to kind of make it more cohesive, but super fun. And I have all those other minis that I could easily do another one just with like 5 grams or whatever. Really fun to do some kind of scrappy projects. And it's fun to take your scrap yarn and make it into a cohesive project. I think it's just so much fun because you end up with colors that you probably wouldn't have if you were planning the project from like scratch, going shopping for the yarn. You probably wouldn't end up with that palette. So it's always very fun and creative. I love that. That is everything I have to talk about with you with this week with all my crafting. I really hope I can finish those 2 pairs of socks, make some more progress on my shawl. But school is starting for me tomorrow on the 17th of January. So I am actually in the process of getting my associates in special education, and this semester I am taking 5 classes. I took 5 classes last semester, but 2 of them were accelerated courses. So one happened the first half of the semester, the other happened the second half of the semester. So as one was ending, the other was starting. So really only had 4 at a time, but this semester I have 5 all at once from beginning to end. I think it'll be okay. It'll be fun. It'll be an adventure. There's already all of them are online. So with online classes, like sometimes there's like issues with mostly getting access to the ebooks. Honestly, I'm dealing with that right now in one of my classes. Hopefully it gets resolved so I can do the reading for the class. But that's just what I'll be doing. I'm looking forward to it and just have lots of plain knitting to see me through any frustrations. Again, that is everything. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you could, take a moment and comment down below something you're working on. I would love to hear all about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy crafting!